Hello everyone, welcome to StudyIQ. Here, India and Japan are in the news right now because of the bilateral exercise, military exercise that both the countries have been conducting. Remember, Japan is a country which after the Second World War had promised not to maintain a standing military, not to spend much money on defense. But today, things are changing as China has been expanding its influence in the South China Sea, East China Sea and the Indo-Pacific. There are countries like South Korea and Japan who are cautious of Chinese moves. Right from Taiwan to Senkaku to Yonaguni and yesterday another Takeshima. Japan is worried about its conflicts with China. Similarly, South Korea as well is wary of China's expansion. So today, Quad has occupied a major position in the world. Quadrilateral dialogue, India is one of the key members. Today, India and Japan are holding a bilateral exercise. Both are Quad countries. Both countries want to maintain safety and security in the Indo-Pacific. How is China reacting? What does it mean to China? All those are important related aspects of this news. So in the map here, as we are looking at Japan, let us see what's happening. We are looking at exercise Dharma Guardian. It is an annual joint military exercise between India and Japan conducted between the Indian Army and the Japanese Ground Self-Defense Forces. Now let's remember it is alternatively held once in Japan and then another year in India. So it's on a rotating basis, and the 7th edition that's happening right now in 2026, it's happening in Uttarakhand. Remember, I had spoken to you in detail about the Lipu Lake Pass. A pass which becomes a tri-junction where India and Nepal both become involved as well. So here, relating the Lipu Lake Pass, do you remember exactly why was the Lipu Lake in controversy? Regarding which initiative taken by India? And I also told you the whole controversy is about the Kala Pani River, how Nepal has a very different interpretation and a map of this region. So keep remembering all the important passes in the hills, especially the Lipu Lake was in the news last year. So this exercise is being held in Uttarakhand right now. That is in the last week of February, and the participation is massive with over 100 soldiers from either side participating in this exercise. Now, if we are looking at the aims and objectives of this exercise, then we all understand that United Nations mandates member countries to often conduct these bilateral exercises, whether naval or air force or the military. The main intention is interoperability, to share the best practices in military from each other and by smoothly doing coordinated operations together. After all, it's a mandate under UN peacekeeping. Now, can you please tell me which chapter of United Nations talks about bilateral exercises, interoperability as well as rescue operation between two militaries? Which United Nations Charter chapter talks about that? Do let me know. Now, another objective of the exercise is to improve defense cooperation between the countries, to improve working together, joint military operations in semi-urban areas. Okay, very important, semi-urban areas, peri-urban areas. Now, share modern military techniques, technologies and tactics with each other, plus prepare for counter-terrorism and peacekeeping missions. That's UN operation. Today, Japan is one country which says, I want to spend at least near about 5% of my GDP into defense. Quite like what NATO countries do. Quite like what US President Trump asked Taiwan to do. This time as India released its annual financial statement, the budget, we have seen the defense budget. Well, even India has allocated more money in defense, especially capital expenditure, capex. Why? Because today the world is not a very safe place in terms of the geopolitical tensions that are ongoing, and Japan believes in something similar. Now, looking at which other exercises do India and Japan hold together? One is the Dharma Guardian that we are just looking into, which is the army exercise right now in Uttarakhand. The next is JIMEX. JIMEX is Japan-India Maritime Exercise. It's a naval exercise. And the third is Shinyu Maitri exercise. Okay, so it is Shinyu Maitri exercise, which is an air force exercise between the two countries. Now, ever since Japan has got the first Lady Prime Minister, the new Prime Minister, things are changing. Now, she is someone who's quite categorical in criticizing China's expansionist moves. For example, as I just mentioned, if you were to look at the entire map of South and East China Sea, you would realize that Japan and China have had a very long controversy in the East China Sea region. What is this controversy about? It is a dispute about Senkaku Islands. Senkaku Islands, which China calls as Diaoyu Islands, uninhabited, very tiny islands but resource-rich islands. Second flashpoint this year in 25 was Yonaguni, very much close to Taiwan, about 110 kilometers north of Taiwan. Japan was creating a missile system there and China objected. China said, no, Taiwan belongs to me under China One or One China strategy. So again, when it comes to ownership of Taiwan, there is a massive confusion, especially Yonaguni. Japan claims it, but China objects to that. Now, yesterday there is another controversy, but this time not exactly between China, Japan, but in fact between Japan and South Korea. There is another group of rocky islands which South Korea calls Dokudo and Japan calls them Takeshima. Now, this is the latest controversy in which internationally, these islands are also known as the Liankot Islands, located in the Sea of Japan, and both the countries are claiming it. Japan celebrated a festival here. South Korea objects to that. So you see, South China, Indo-Pacific is an area that's full of controversies, but map work can make it very easy for us for the UPSC exam. And on that note, a quick practice question. With reference to exercise Dharma Garjan, look at these statements. 1. It is a joint military exercise conducted between Indian Army and Japanese counterpart. 2. The exercise is conducted every year alternatively between the two nations. And 3. The primary focus of the exercise is joint naval warfare and anti-submarine operations. Which of these statements do you think are valid? To get more clarity on this issue, you could join our Telegram channel by scanning this QR code, which is an ever increasing group of UPSC aspirants, which I provide lots of knowledge dose into every day. And do remember, we are running the Power Play sale at StudyIQ right now. It's a limited period offer. You get a flat 50% discount on both batches, 2027 and 2028 UPSC course, which covers all the topics of GS. It's a GS foundation course. Plus, grooms you for the personal interview, talks about current affairs, provides you books and material, all at 50% off. And the prices begin at 12,999. If you use code SPLY, further discount. So what else are you waiting for? This is a perfect opportunity. Give a professional edge to your preparation. Guarantee your success with us at StudyIQ. Remember, flat 50% off and code SPLY. It's a limited period offer. Thank you.